championship or bust.
Is this the biggest failure in NBA history?
With every super team comes high expectations and immense pressure to win a championship. It's always championship or bust. But while some teams fall just short, others miss the mark entirely, not even making the finals, or worse, not even making the playoffs. These are the 10 most disappointing super teams in NBA history and how they failed miserably. Let's start at the beginning. The very first true super team that didn't pan out, the 1969 Los Angeles Lakers. Wilt Chamberlain joined Jerry West and Elgin Baylor, and it looked like a basketball juggernaut was forming. Wilt was widely considered the best center in the NBA. Jerry West was the league's premier shooting guard, and Baylor was arguably the best small forward. In 1968, the year before Wilt joined, Baylor finished third in MVP voting, while West made the All-NBA second team. They were all tired of losing to the Boston Celtics. Baylor had already lost in the finals 6 times, 5 of those alongside West. Wilt had 6 playoff losses to Boston on his resume, so they came together to finally dethrone Boston and dominate the NBA. In 1969, the Lakers finished first in the West and reached the finals. They held a 3-2 series lead over Boston. Confident they'd win Game 7 in Los Angeles, the Lakers even filled the roof with balloons to drop after the victory. But Celtics legend Bill Russell got wind of the celebration plans, used it as fuel, and Boston pulled off the upset. Wilt was benched late in the game with a sore knee, but the Lakers still cut the lead to 2 points. Unfortunately, they fell short, and the balloons stayed in the rafters. Bill Russell retired that year, opening the door for the Lakers. In 1970, they made it back to the finals against the Knicks. But the legendary Willis Reed limped onto the court in Game 7, inspiring New York to a miraculous victory.
Got pieces now that we can compete for a championship, and that's our goal.
You know, it didn't work out, and that's what everybody looks at, but I easily feel like it could have worked out just the same.
I think we could beat the Nets at full power. That was a team that we thought we might not be able to get past for 3 or 4 years.
We get ready for next year.
It was a lot of ups and downs, but I love the grind. Everybody in Brooklyn loved the grind too, so I built a family over there. They're going to always be a part of my journey. We didn't accomplish what we wanted to accomplish as far as winning a championship, just like I told him, but I enjoy the grind. And everybody there, we tried our hardest every day, regardless of what was going on in the media, what was going on with our...
The next year, the Lakers lost to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and the Bucks in the conference finals. Elgin Baylor, dealing with a bad knee, retired early in the 1971-72 season. Without him, the Lakers went on a record-setting 33-game win streak and finished 69-13. That team finally broke through and won the title. But it wasn't the original super team that did it. The West Wilt Baylor version never delivered, and that's why they deserve a place on this list. Fast forward to 2003. The Lakers decided to build another super team, adding Gary Payton and Karl Malone to a roster already featuring Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant. 4 future Hall of Famers, coached by Phil Jackson. It was supposed to be easy, but nothing came easy. Shaq and Kobe's feud hit its peak. Malone injured his knee and missed 40 games. Payton struggled in the triangle offense. The bench was thin. Kobe was dealing with legal issues off the court and missed time because of it. Still, they got to the finals. Everyone expected them to walk over the underdog Pistons. Instead, Detroit dominated the series with suffocating defense. When Malone re-injured his knee in Game 3, it was over. The Lakers lost in 5 games. After the season, Malone retired, Payton was traded, and Shaq was shipped to Miami. The super team lasted 1 year and collapsed spectacularly. But maybe even more embarrassing was the 2014 Brooklyn Nets. Russian billionaire Mikhail Prokhorov bought the team in 2010 and went all in. No thought to the future. Just titles now. First, they traded picks for Deron Williams. Then another for Gerald Wallace, which Portland used to draft Damian Lillard. Then another first-rounder for Joe Johnson. The ultimate move came in 2013, trading 3 first-round picks to Boston for Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Jason Terry. They were way past their prime. Combined, the trio was over 100 years old. On paper, it looked promising, 5 all-star starters. But the Nets won just 44 games and barely escaped the first round of the playoffs, thanks to a missed buzzer beater by Kyle Lowry. In the second round, they got smoked by LeBron's Heat. Pierce left the next summer. Garnett hung around a few more months. Deron Williams fell off and was eventually bought out. Within 2 years, the super team was gone, and the Nets had no picks to rebuild. and they weren't done. In 2019, the Nets signed Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. When healthy, they were elite. Durant came back from injury and looked better than ever.
This is classic, vintage, careless, out of control Russell Westbrook. No conscience.
Let's just get this out of the way, please. The Lakers are a national basketball atrocity. Let's just call it what it is.
Just think, Dwight, Kobe, Steve Nash, Pau Gasol, man, they should all be able to play well together. And it just don't always work out like that. Sometimes people just don't fit.
Philosophically, that relationship was never going to work. Everybody expected me and Kobe to be like the new Kobe and Shaq. And I'm just coming off injury.
When all three played, they had the most efficient offense in NBA history, but they only played 16 games together. Harden hurt his hamstring. Kyrie sprained his ankle. Durant was left alone to battle the Bucks in the 2021 playoffs. He nearly pulled it off, but stepped on the line with a game-winning shot. A long two instead of a three. Over time, they lost. In 2022, Kyrie refused the COVID-19 vaccine and missed most home games. Harden got fed up and demanded a trade. He was sent to Philly. The Nets got swept in the first round. By 2023, all three stars were gone. Another super team dead on arrival. Charles Barkley once criticized super teams, but joined one in 1996. He teamed up with Hakeem Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler in Houston. All three were 33 or older. They still had something left, but not enough. They reached the conference finals in 1997, but lost to Utah on a buzzer beater by John Stockton. Drexler retired. Scottie Pippen arrived to replace him. Barkley and Pippen clashed immediately. Chemistry fell apart. The Rockets lost in the first round in 1999. That was the end of that. In 2018, Oklahoma City had a super team of its own. Russell Westbrook, Paul George, and Carmelo Anthony. Plus solid role players like Steven Adams and Andre Robertson.
Sudden, this team started winning basketball games. 1 month went by, 2 months went by.
When you get to 17, 18, 19 wins, now people are saying like, wow, can they ever lose?
On the Pistons thing, that's my fault because I didn't get us prepared to run our automatics. And we got to Detroit and it forced us to play our offense 94 feet and we weren't ready. And we couldn't do it. And everything just capitulated from there. And that sits with me because we should have won that.
Westbrook and George were in their prime. Melo still had gas left, but the team never gelled. They finished the season with just 48 wins and got bounced in 5 games by the Jazz. The next year, Melo was gone. George played great, but his shoulder injuries caught up with him. The Blazers eliminated them with Damian Lillard's legendary deep game winner. The super team disbanded, and OKC began rebuilding. Paul George went to the Clippers to team up with Kawhi Leonard. This pairing looked like a match made in basketball heaven. Elite defenders, versatile scorers, a strong supporting cast. They held a 3-1 lead over the Nuggets in the 2020 playoffs. Then they choked. They lost Game 5 after blowing a 12-point halftime lead. Game 6, a 16-point collapse. Game 7, another meltdown. Kawhi and PG combined for just 24 points. The Clippers were embarrassed. Coach Doc Rivers was fired. The dream turned nightmare. In 2021, they played better. Beat the Mavericks, beat the Jazz, but Kawhi tore his ACL. They lost to the Suns in the conference finals. Kawhi missed the entire next season. Injuries kept piling up. Even after adding Russell Westbrook and James Harden, the team couldn't stay healthy. Another super team that never reached its potential. Which brings us to the Lakers again. In 2021, they added Russell Westbrook to LeBron James and Anthony Davis.
The Timberwolves have never been to the finals. The Thunder last won the championship when they were the Seattle Supersonics in 1979. And as for the Knicks and the Pacers, in 1973, they were the champs of the NBA and ABA, respectively, and neither has won anything since. This has become a theme in the NBA, and it's a great one, because among the last 6 winners were the Nuggets and the Raptors for the first time each, and the Bucks for the first time in half a century. And in the meantime, look what's happened to recent efforts to construct super teams in Philadelphia, in Phoenix, in Brooklyn. None of them ever got out of the second round. None of them made the playoffs this year. Further, super teams tend to be old. The 6 oldest teams in the league this year were the Warriors, Celtics, Bucks, Suns, and Lakers. None of them are still in it. One of them didn't even make the play-in. So what does all this mean? It means the NBA got their rules right. They created something called the second apron. I'm not going to bore you with the details. Simply put, its goal was to create parity and it worked. For too long, this league felt like a movie where you knew the ending before it began. Not anymore. Suddenly, it feels like a league where, as KG once said, anything really is possible. And to me, that is the best kind of league that you can be.
After winning the 2020 title, this was supposed to take them back to the top. It didn't. Westbrook was a terrible fit. The defense fell off a cliff. Russ couldn't shoot and refused to play off the ball. Injuries to AD and LeBron only made things worse. The Lakers didn't even make the playoffs in 2022. In 2023, Russ was traded mid-season. The team got better immediately, but the Lakers have a history of failed super teams. In 2012, they landed Dwight Howard and Steve Nash to join Kobe Bryant and Paul Gasol. It looked like a cheat code. It turned out to be a curse. Nash got hurt early and never recovered. Dwight had back problems.
And I feel like we live in this 2K world where we're like putting a roster together, and it's like, how can we put as many good players that don't even make sense together?
Yeah.
And it drives me crazy. So what's wrong with this team? Well, it's very simple. Basketball is a very organic thing, and the players and their skills have to complement each other. And Chris Bosh is a great example of that. The sacrifice to figure out how can my skills, and maybe I have to develop some of those, you mentioned the three-point shooting, how can I figure out how to complement?
Right.
It's going to make me better. It's going to make LeBron better. It's going to make D Wade better. And it's going to make our team better. And that's basketball.
And that's basketball. But that also comes from to go back to episode 1, basketball IQ as well. Him having the basketball.
Kobe tore his Achilles just before the playoffs. The Lakers were swept in the first round. The experiment was a disaster. Finally, the 2024 Phoenix Suns. Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal. 3 lethal scorers.
When Kobe tried to get Nash and Dwight, first thing I said, they're not gonna mesh. What happened?
No, that's not why. They got hurt, bro. And they were old.
Exactly.
Yeah. Kobe tore his Achilles.
You have to take these things into account. You can't just say these names are great, but they got injured, so it didn't work. They got injured because they were old. That's part of it.
But they lacked defense, size, and chemistry. They got swept in the first round by Minnesota. Durant and Booker were left stunned. Another super team bites the dust. Super teams are about risk and reward. Sometimes it pays off. Sometimes it ends in disaster. But one thing's for sure, no matter how big the names are, chemistry, health, and sacrifice always matter more. And as we've seen time and again, stacking talent doesn't guarantee success. Just ask any team on this list. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, check out our other deep dives and subscribe for more awesome videos like this one.